Look at all these gorgeous collage papers. When I look at these papers, I get so many ideas. You could use them in your art journals as collage pieces for your next collage project, in your junk journals, as wrapping papers. You could cut out tags to put them in your journals. You can fold, coin envelopes, normal envelopes. You can use them as background papers for doing another project on it. You could do so many things with these fun papers. You could even hang them on your wall just as they are. And if you want to know how I made these papers, then stay tuned. Hi, I'm Susanne from Susie's Journal Adventure, and welcome to a new adventure with my Gelliplate. So today's video is part of my Gelliplate printing series. I will link the playlist for you down below in the description box. And today I want to show you how you can use easy and fun elements like these cutout shapes to create these fun patterns and the negatives of these patterns on your papers. For this project you only need some kind of cardstock. I cut out these shapes just from a regular cereal box, so this is not too sturdy, but it is sturdy enough so that you can use the cutout shapes several times. And what I do is either just cutting out the shapes that I want to have without tracing them on the paper at first, or you could even trace them, of course, before you cut them out. That's exactly what I did here with these crosses. And I always love having, kind of wonky shapes. I have these rectangular, well, more or less, of course, rectangular shapes here. Then I have some random circles. And then these wonky crosses. You could, of course, do any shape you like, and I always have a lot of ideas. What I do is when the things, you can already see I have already used them several times, and when I think, okay, their lives is over, then I just grab my cereal box and cut out other ones. So yeah, it's always fun to have new ones, I think. And today I want to show you how you can use these shapes on your Gelliplate for some fun papers. And using these shapes on the Gelliplate means that you use them as a mask. That means when you put the shape on your plate and then you put your paint on it, or you put your paint on the Gelliplate at first and then you put the shape on it, and you put your paper on top, then you will have the negative of the shape when you later on remove the paper, There will be no paint where you have this shape. So this is called a mask. And this is different to a stencil, of course, because when you use a stencil on the mask, you will obviously have the paint where you have the cutouts. And you want this cutout shape here to be seen. And here you want, the area around the shape to be seen, if that makes sense, I hope. Now, as you can see here, I have gotten some really fun papers with just 3 or 4 layers, and I want to show you how I created these. So what do we need for this jelly printing session? I will try to link all the supplies that I use for you down below in the description box. I'm using my big jelly plate. This is approximately size A4. And for the paint, I love the Amsterdam acrylics and the Liquitex acrylics. And then I also have some Schminke acrylic colors. So yeah, they work pretty perfect for me. For the paper, I love this thicker paper here. This is Techno Superior 160 GSM. I will also try to link this one for you. What else do we need? Of course, a brayer. And you can see this in the video, but I have my art journal here on the table as well, because I love putting the rest of the paint that is on the brayer in my journals so that I already have some kind of background when I want to create in it. You can see here I also brayered the rest on, and you know, a white page is not very inviting for me to create on it, so I love having already some things on it. So that's why I have my art journal on the table as well. Or you could even use an old book where you can put the rest of the paint and you can immediately have some fun collage papers as well. And later on, I will also use this Liquitex matte gel. I will show you later what I will be using this for. So let's start. I will add the first layer, and I'm using this sky blue light. So we're applying a thin layer, always on the jelly plate, a thin layer. And you can see here, the rest is now here on my art journal page. So what I think is a lot of fun is using two papers simultaneously. I hope that's the right word. And I'm putting the paper here on top of a part of my jelly plate and the second paper on the rest of the jelly plate. So what I do now is creating a background so that I won't have any white showing on the paper later on. So now I'm using the, what is this, Naples Yellow Red. So I'm using the same papers again, and I'm trying to cover the white part now with this new layer. And then here the rest fits automatically to this part of the paper. I'm gently massaging here the paper a little bit and press it down slightly on the jelly plate. That's enough. And now you already have a fun background, I think, because, can you see this? We already have some texture on here, this black, and here you can even see it better. You can see the crosses here. This is obviously the rest of black paint that I used in my printing session before I record now this video. This is one of these crosses here. I love this grungy look. So now let me show you one of these papers. We now have this background here. You can see I used the same blue here, but this is kind of an ochre. And we now want to have this black layer with the masks where the colors show. And to achieve this, we now have to add some black paint. Oh, let me show you. This is Liquitex Mars Black. Always make sure you only apply a thin layer and try to spread the paint evenly on your jelly plate. And now I'm just grabbing my cutout shapes and put them here randomly where I think they look gorgeous. I'm also combining these crosses. I love them so much. And I'm always trying to, you know, kind of extend the design by putting the shapes not only, you know, on the jelly plate, but let them a little bit go over the border. I don't know how I can explain this better, but I think you know what I mean. No, that's okay. And now what I want to have is that I want to have the design only on one part of the paper. So I will again, oh well, let's do it like so. The one paper here and the other paper here. So you could, of course, also have put the paper like so, the one here, and then the other one on top, but that way you get a nice interest because the first layer was like, you know, half of, you know, the paper like so, and now we have it the other way. And I'm now trying to rub gently so that later on the shapes can show really, really well on the paper. That's okay. Ooh, I already like it. And the other one. I love this. And now we take these shapes, put them aside, and I think you can already see how fun these outlines are. I think this is just gorgeous. I will, of course, use these as well on my papers, but at first we have to make sure that this layer is completely dry. So I'm grabbing my heat gun, and If you use your heat gun or anything that makes heat together with your jelly plate, please be very, very careful, because I think this will melt if it's too hot, you know. So I'm always trying to move the heat gun, you will see it in a second, very fast, and I will have a pretty good distance here between the jelly plate and my heat gun. You have to test if everything is completely dry. That's really important now for the next step. Yes. And now we are using this matte gel medium, and I will use this for the next layer here on my jelly plate to pick up the print, the black outlines here from the shapes. And this is perfect because this dries obviously matte and transparent. So we don't have an additional color with this. We only have here a medium that helps us picking up the print from the plate. So I have a brush here. I'm applying some of this on the plate. I think that's enough. And now we take our brayer. I think it needs a little bit more. And here you have to make sure that the medium is spread completely on your jelly plate. This is kind of difficult to see, but it is possible to see it. And now we have to be a little bit quick. Let's do it like so. And now the other print, like so. And now, as we have 2 layers on the jelly plate, we probably have to wait a little bit longer and massage a little bit longer, because we want the layer of the matte gel medium to pick up the dried paint, the dried black paint, the outlines from underneath. We want to pick it up and that it later on is on the paper. So yeah, that's the process. Now we can lift up the paper a little bit. Yes, and I can already see, okay, it is working. If I would have seen now that the outline is still on the jelly plate, I could just have put down the paper again and waited a little longer. That's perfect. Ooh, I really, really love it. Can you see this? I mean, look at the grunge here. I love the combination, these bold shapes here, the black here, and then just the outlines here. I think this is gorgeous. I love this so much. And you immediately have a fun paper. You could hang this on your wall. You could cut it down, glue it together again. I mean, this is also a great way. You could cut out shapes from the different papers and make a new collage. Yeah. So now I will show you how I did this paper and some of the others that I just showed you in the beginning. And yeah, let's dive into these gorgeous papers. So let's start off this time with a yellow layer. I'm using this cadmium yellow light and I'm adding my wonky crosses on top. Again, I'm using 2 papers simultaneously. We will later on see some of the white space here and look at these gorgeous outlines. I'm trying to capture these by adding a neon pink layer on top, and I'm hoping to be able to pull the print completely. So I'm adding the 2 papers again. I'm trying to overlap a little bit the yellow and the neon pink spaces. You can hardly see the crosses, but that's okay. It adds to the interest anyway. And for the next layer, I want to have a bold contrast, so I'm using the black and the rectangular shapes and the circles. I'm gently massaging the paper and the cutouts so that I get a nice print, and look at this result. I love this. The contrast is just, yeah, so fabulous, I think. And of course, I will use the outlines here as well. I will add them on top. I'm using my matte gel medium again. Ta-da! Look at these gorgeous outlines that I have here with the grunge. This is so interesting, I think. I love this so much. The bold black spaces on the left and the outlines on the other side. Let's go on with another color combination. This is a light blue by Amsterdam Acrylics that I combine with this mustard yellow. And for the next layer, I'm combining white and black, on which I add my circles and the crosses again. And I'm using the outlines again, of course, and I'm adding them on top of the layer that I did a second ago. And this way you have the white outlines on the black bold areas on the paper, and vice versa, the black outlines on the white layer. Look at the grunge. It's so interesting. And in the end, I'm adding a final layer with only black. Ooh, look at the result. I love this paper so much. And this as well. The color combination is beautiful, I think, and the marks as well. So of course I'm pulling the last print to clean my jelly plate, and I'm using a blank white paper for this last print. And here you can see I can pick up all the outlines with one layer of this yellow and the blue paint. So I hope I could inspire you to play with your jelly plate as well. Jelly plate printing is always such a great way to find back to creativity or to have a really gorgeous result in nearly no time. As I've already said, I will link all the other videos of my jelly plate printing playlist down for you in the description box. Thank you so much for watching again, or for watching the first time if you're new on my channel. And I hope I see you soon in my next video. Bye!